Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Al Wakrah in Qatar. Al Wakrah is a very interesting place because it actually has a lot of history compared to the rest of Qatar, which most of it was just a lot of sand and nothing until very recent history in the late 20th century. But Al Wakrah has a very long, interesting history. But nevertheless, most of its landscape is still a lot of sand and nothing. It's only really developed around here. You can see the capital, Doha, is just to the north of the city of Al Wakrah. Lots of industry here. This is where the oil is refined, petroleum factories and things like that. All the things that help make Qatar what it is today, being a very oil-rich, very first world society because of all the wealth brought in by that industry. You can also see that it has this very long coastline on the Persian Gulf. It's not the beachiest part of Qatar. There are beaches, but nothing like up here, where there's like a luxury, beautiful sand and gorgeous surf and everything. It's mostly like a lot of camping out here, where you can pitch a tent near the sea and watch the sunrise, especially down here. This area here is known as the Inland Sea. It's quite marshy, with mangroves and flamingos. It's very wild, but very beautiful nonetheless. We'll check it all out in Google Earth after we go over its history. So let's talk about this really cool history. Al Wakrah is believed to be the first ever established town on the Qatari Peninsula. It goes way back. And like a lot of places in Qatar, it started off as a pearling town. Pretty much all of like its industry economy came from pearling. They would build these little boats called dhows, head out into the Persian Gulf, dive in the water, grab as many little oysters that they could grab while holding their breath, open them up in the boats and hope that there were pearls inside that they could trade throughout the Persian Gulf, the rest of the Arabian Peninsula, up north in the Middle East, and then up through Europe. Made them very, very wealthy. It's also believed that there could have been a bit of a pirating industry here. If there was, it was nothing like what was happening all down here along this coast here, along the Strait of Hormuz. But it's possible there could have been some piracy here. It was more the British accusing the people here of being pirates, because the British at this time of history, like the 1800s, ruled the Persian Gulf and all the trade happening there, and they were getting plagued by pirates. So they pointed fingers, but I don't think there's a lot of evidence of piracy there. But who knows? In 1863, the region would change, or begin to change, quite drastically, as conflict was brewing with neighboring Bahrain. Bahrain wanted more of a political presence in the region. It did not go well. The two different tribal peoples clashed, led to conflict, and eventually it would lead to Bahrain, with the help of Abu Dhabi, just tackling the area from both ends. And they sacked the city in 1867. They sacked Doha as well. They came in without mercy, didn't they? The area being very weakened, it was absorbed by the Ottoman Empire, which led to even more conflict with the Qatari peoples. and their new overlords, the Ottomans. But by 1916, the area would come under a British protectorate. Like I said, the British ruled the waters of the Persian Gulf, and the Ottoman Empire was not doing so hot at that time, so they sought out British help, and the British gladly accepted that help. And they took it over until Qatar's independence from Britain in 1971. Urban development in Wakrah began almost right away after independence. Along with neighboring Doha, they started building up this area first, modernizing it, improving the infrastructure. That would accelerate more in the early 2000s, making it more modern, more luxurious. And then once it was announced that Qatar would be hosting a World Cup, a FIFA World Cup, a football competition, it became even more glamorous and modernized, becoming the city that we know today. They built a stadium for the World Cup there. It's really beautiful. Apparently it's modeled after the sails of a dhow, but I don't think it really looks like that. It's still beautiful, but I don't see it. I'll show you. Let's take a look at this region. Let me pull up my tablet here and show you. Slide this up for you. Alright, so here's the slideshow. I'll walk. Let's take a look at this place. Lots of road development, as you can imagine. We'll see this little structure later from above near the Corniche, kind of like boardwalk area near the water. This is a really boring slideshow. This is not what I thought it was going to be. Let's get out of this. This is boring. Let's take a look at Al Wakrah. So here you can see a big marina area. And what I like about it from above is that you can see all of the traditional dhows mixed in with little sailboats and yachts and things. I think that's really cool. I think that's like Qatar in a snapshot, right? You've got the old fishing boats that they've been building for hundreds of years next to all the fancy yachts. Sorry for the cars outside. There's that little statue. I think if I go here, you can see a better picture. You can see the umbrellas there on the beach. How cool is that? So here's more of the glamorous beachy area. Beautiful. This little statue. And oh, those are the old fishing dhows out there. Big old boat there. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to show you. They brought their tea out to the beach. There's some really neat little areas of Al Wakrah that I want to show you, if I can remember where they are. A neat little park area there on the water. And more of a beach. It's down here, I remember. Maybe not. I'm out of the city. Where was it? Maybe it's up here. This happens every time, man. Every single time. I'm like, oh, I gotta show them on Google Earth this neat place I found, and then once I record, I completely lose it. Where is it? I think it's over here. I remember I was like, Dog Beach. I want to see the dogs. And then it proceeded to show me no dogs. Look at all these dogs. I assume that's a dog beach. It's because it said so. Pretty garden here. Lots of kind of deserty plants that can bloom under that kind of climate. Think like intense 110 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures in the summer. Like no relief. So plants that can handle that kind of environment. How is it that I've completely lost all the places I wanted to show you. How is that possible? Here it is. It was over here. I wanted to show you the souk. That's what I wanted to show you. The traditional marketplace, which the souk has probably been here for a long, long, long time, right? You couldn't have an ancient town without your souk. Look at all the camels coming in. Wow. So a little traditional shopping area. There's a little statue. Camels there on the beach. And more dows. It's kind of like that old school shopping with like a few blocks away there's like huge shopping malls, you know. Pretty neat. There's a cool playground over here, really huge. Pony rides. That's nice. What was it I wanted to show you? It wasn't the playground, was it? The playground's pretty cute. I don't think, oh, that's fun. You could have pirate adventures. The camel's out. I don't think it was this. It's just a playground. Let's see. It wasn't this. The mangroves. There's much more beautiful mangroves in other parts of Qatar. Let me show you the other ones in the south. Don't remember what it was I wanted to show you up there, but you guys get the gist of it. Let's head down. There's some refinery places here. It's where all the magic happens for Qatar. But let's head down the coast. Look at all this industry. Let's head down to the inland sea. The inland sea here, where you can see some of these mangroves growing there. Saltwater trees. There's, let's see if I can find it, the flamingo spot. Lots of little flamingo friends come here to eat and enjoy the water. There's a really neat spot down here. The Inland Sea Sunrise Point. Looks like lots of camping happens here. You can take some great photos of the sun rising over the water. Ooh, don't get stuck in the sand though. Bring out the whole family to enjoy the water and the beautiful weather. I assume it's much cooler down here by the water, especially at night, right? But yeah, nice, beautiful little spot here in Qatar. And as you can see, the rest is just a bunch of nothing. It's not very developed, but I feel like it's not really a priority because this is industry zone. You know, they're going to focus on that more than anything. I don't think I'm going to remember the thing. Once I stop recording, I'll be like, that's what it was. I was going to show them this fun thing that I found. But I don't remember what it was now. Oh well. That's okay. I think you guys got the gist. Nice little modern city. Little suburb of Doha. Oh, that was what it was. It was the stadium. I promised you I'd show you. See, it's beautiful from above, right? But I don't really see, it's pretty inside too. Some World Cup games. There's an old, like, artwork showing what a Dow would look like all bare bones. Like, I guess it looks like a sail. I don't really see it. It looks more like a shell to me. But it's still very beautiful. It's probably like the opening ceremonies there of the World Cup, maybe. Not sure. Playing some football. That's what I wanted to show you, was the stadium. Look at all decorated. All fireworks going off. Very cool. Let's see. I think that was it now. I knew I was forgetting something, and that's definitely what it was. Okay. That's where we're going to end tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Let me zoom out so you can see where Qatar is located on the Arabian Peninsula, a peninsula on the peninsula. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. Next, we're going to be heading over to Oman, just south of here, and if you're familiar with my channel, you know how much I love Oman and can't stop talking about Oman, so I'm excited to show you this area. It is vastly different from any other part of Oman I've ever shown you. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good night. Good night.